beautiful Bridgeview Park for you and your community to enjoy. And the next thing you know, they had a big opening, ribbon cutting, and wonderful party. And the next thing you know, within months of that, there was a big 10-foot tall fence around that field, and they were out there with hazmat outfits on, serving, seeing what they had.
Right.
Again, no one was told. The community began to panic when you see those people in those white suits with those masks walking around. Nobody's knocked on your door and said, "Oh, we're over here. We think we found you might want to leave, or close your windows or doors," because they have a very infamous way of doing that, and they've done it to me here, right across the street. I know this because I'm a hazmat worker. Other than that, you see somebody in a spacesuit walking around, you're gonna has to be banned.
Talking about.
Again,
we could have been told. We could have been considered. Hey, we're going to be removing. And made a big proclamation about it. And then a few months later, they had to come in, and people had the white suits on and was doing all the testing. Is this the same park?
This is the same one. But they were going to put a playscape over here for the children. Mm-hmm. And they tested the soil first, and that's when they discovered that it was contaminated with lead and arsenic. Mm-hmm. So, to me, it only makes sense.
Excuse me.
If there's lead and arsenic over here.
Talk freely.
If there's lead and arsenic over here, you don't think there's lead and arsenic over here? Do you think the lead and arsenic just said, okay, we're only going to fall down right here? I'm asking you a question.
We both know the answer. And anybody else that put a thought
here, you want to say, you want to take a picture of the sign?
Yeah. There you go.
Wait a minute, let me get up. Can you see it?
Bridgeview. Yeah. Excellent.
Whether the EPA's conclusion that the problems caused by the connection between Marathon's tar sands refinery and the city's wastewater treatment facilities ultimately prove true or not, residents of the area have no choice but to live and die with the realities of having been exposed to the pollution in the area.
And respiratory problems.
Because I've had friends that have died from lung cancer at early age. The lady who we used to go to her house every day when my parents were working, and she was the only one at home, but she had a big cherry tree. We used to climb the cherry tree and have a good time. She kind of like took care of the whole block. Her name was Janie, and she died of lung cancer.
Her son.
And her son died of lung cancer, which was a friend. Which was our age.
And they lived on your block?
Yes, he lived on our block. Next door, in fact, his grandmother lived next door. Well, she's since passed, but she's been deceased. But they lived in the area we lived in.
We once did a little informal inventory of people who died of cancer. And, I mean, a lot of my neighbors, my former neighbors have died of cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. I mean, just, and these are people who I think they tried to do all the right things in terms of the health situations. But I think if someone really started to look at hard numbers and came out, the health department, at one time they even did an article in a newspaper and looked at the respiratory problems that a lot of people have and the number of incidents.
This was my family home. My father died in this living in a hospital bed with cancer everywhere. My mother died in that bedroom from kidney failure. She worked so hard to keep this little cabin. It's got central air. It's got central heat. It's got new roof. It's no boiler in the furnace. It's all brand new. My mother invested in this home. She wanted to have something to leave her children. Sorry. And I kept it for that sake, because it was my mom's. And she wanted us to have some place to go. If you never know, divorce, economy, whatever, one of her kids or all of them could come here. And she was exposed to the gases and that kind of thing. And I think that may have been what contributed or escalated both of my parents and the many others in this community that are dying in cancer clusters and kidney failure and heart trouble. And all of that stems from them dumping these chemicals and not caring. Because if there's ever an official survey taking, you can walk in any of these homes and ask, has someone in your family died from cancer or kidney failure or heart? And then, oh yeah, my uncle, oh yeah, my brother, oh yeah, my cousin, oh yeah, my neighbor, oh yeah. There's not a house of anybody that's been here for more than, 10 years?
Has made an offer to buy us out. But the problem was that the offer that they made was so low that if we found the house, we would still be owing money to live there when this house is free and clear. So we were going to debt, and we were like, we're not going to do that, so we asked them for a certain price, and they turned us down and said, sorry Charlie, good luck.
I understand that maybe 4 of the 12, maybe not even that many, have already settled and decided to take the offer and go on, maybe for financial reasons, whatever, but the majority of the people here, they're older people, or they're people whose homes are paid off. And so when you relocate and you're not paying rent or mortgage where you are, it takes a substantial amount of money to even put the move on. You've got to get trucks and that kind of thing. So it's kind of that situation. We're just kind of waiting and see.
Even with the remaining residents of the whole agreeing to accept Marathon's offer and relocate, several questions remain as to the environmental quality of nearby residents in the short term, as well as potential environmental hazards for the larger Detroit area in the long term.
One question I wanted to ask, and this is kind of a broader question, with from other things I've read about the tar sands waste byproducts and how it's eventually disposed of, and since we have with the Rouge there and also the Detroit rivers, which eventually flow into the Great Lake there, is there any concern on behalf of the EPA in terms of even once this water is processed through the combined sewage and then is eventually discharged, how that might affect, the environmental quality of those rivers and the lake, overall long term?
Right. I don't know enough about tar sands to really say that. Their wastewater has a permit both with the city, and then the city has a permit with EPA, which has been delegated to the DEQ. Obviously EPA has a concern that all the entities meet their permit obligations, but I can't really speak to tar sands, because I don't know.